What's up, folks, and welcome to Indie Ramble. I got something a little bit different for you today. This is, well, this may look like an NES game, but it definitely isn't. And it's from a genre I don't tend to cover very often. So this is Super Mega Zero, and it is a precision platforming title. Sort of think in the veins of Super Meat Boy or something like that, but I've been surprisingly enjoying this. I respect the hell out of the precision platformer genre, and especially those who can make a crazy go of it, but it's not for me. I've tried Super Meat Boy multiple times, and I just can't hack it. I really can't. And what I've really been liking about this one is that it is challenging without a doubt, but it is definitely a little easier to get into. Something that, if you're not someone who is as hardcore with the genre as some other players, that you can pick up and figure out and enjoy, but still, it still offers a level of crazy challenge at high levels that the hardcore players will appreciate. So this has a sort of similar principle to Super Meat Boy. You are this character, well, called Zero, because you're the, an 8-bit looking Zero, and your girlfriend gets captured by this weird corruption force, and you're trying to rescue her. It's not a overly complicated story, much like Meat Boy's is. Maybe that you could say that the characters aren't quite as interesting as Meat Boy, but it's still quite good. And your idea is to get through all of these different levels, obviously. And what's cool about this, so as you can see, there's 20 levels per world, and there's 10 different worlds, and they get increasingly harder the further in you go. And what I like about this is that you have a few different mechanics to encourage you to replay them. So every level has a high score, a time, and a like secret coins that you can get through them that will help boost your score up. And there's no online leaderboards and no replays, which does feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity. Something like that I think would have been really cool, at least for online leaderboards, but you have an incentive to maximize those things if you want. But you don't have to. If you just want to chew your way through it, ignore the optional stuff, and get to the end of the game, you can do that as well. And you see that there's a lives mechanic up there, and that's a little bit misleading and kind of cheeky. So because your character is called Zero, what you actually do is you start with 0 lives. And there is no lives mechanic. It's not like you only have a finite number of attempts to finish a level or anything like that. But you'll see that it's a way of counting retries. So you see that the lives number actually goes down every time I die. I thought that was kind of amusing. And yeah, so you have all those different targets, plus this will obviously really encourage people like speedrunners and the like. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities to do that in this. And what I really like is that it drip feeds you mechanics. So as I've gone through, I'm always learning something new. Every world brings with it new things that you will end up working on and learning as you go, including stuff like this. Like, this is a totally different mechanic where you pick up this item that turns you into a sort of floating object, and you can sort of, as you use your sort of thrust ability, you can sort of change the trajectory on which your sine wave flows. And this brings with it its own batch of challenges. What's also interesting, and this is a kind of a weird fusion, but I also approve of it, is the game has 2 different shmup sections every level, or every world, I should say. It just, in the middle and at the end, it just turns into a shmup, and an interesting one at that. It actually has some pretty cool like level design and weapons and enemies and stuff that it brings about, and also really an ability to focus on score here as well. And it's a weird fusion of genres, but in some of the later levels, these shmup sections actually get pretty challenging in their own way, and they make use of the mechanics that the game puts down, and does so in a very interesting way. It brings the sort of precision platforming challenge and mechanics that you've learned so far to a different perspective of play. And I think that's actually a really cool idea. It sounds like a weird thing to fuse these genres up with, but it really works. And To be honest with you, my only complaint is probably that I wish there were more shmup levels, but that's just because I really, really like shmups. You know, if you're someone... I could see some people who are coming to this for the hardcore precision platformer element going, get your shmup out of here. This isn't what I came here for. But I think if you give it a chance, you'll find that it's actually fairly well implemented here. And yeah, there's a good amount of content in this for what it offers. I think it actually plays really well. I really like the aesthetic with this. So, you know how with a lot of the games that I cover, I try to frame them in an era, right? Like, if it's a retro title, I try to say, you know, this is something that you would have seen in the Commodore 64 era or the NES era or something like that. I call this one 8-bit plus because it definitely... There's a lot of this, obviously, that looks like an NES game, and this fantastic soundtrack also sounds kind of like something you would have gotten out of an NES game, but it's not. This game is doing things that the NES could not do, especially the extra effects, the double-scrolling backgrounds, things like that, is something that you couldn't do on an NES. And while this clearly has NES-style samples in the music, it definitely... You could not make a traditional NES sound chip do this kind of thing. But I think it executes on that really well. I really like the look of this. I really like how it plays. The controls are quite snappy. I have very rarely had one of those situations where I died in the game and gone, that was because the controls didn't respond the way I wanted or something like that. If you have a precision platformer that makes people think that, you've kind of already lost, because you're not going to... If your tool set is not strong enough that when people start failing, they're gonna assume it might be the tools, then you're already screwed. And sure, some people are gonna do that anyway, because some people are just sore losers. But I can tell when I die in this, it's been almost entirely my fault, without a doubt. So I think it checks those boxes very well too. The only thing I could say is that like I said, I could see some real hardcore fans of this genre thinking that this is a little too easy or a little too simplistic for them. And you know what? If you're someone who's in, you know, who beats all the Dark World levels and everything on Super Meat Boy and speed runs it and stuff, yeah, this is going to seem probably pretty simple to you. From what I understand, the later worlds get positively vicious, so... And here's the second Shmup section. There's a boss fight at the end, so you're trying to take out this sort of corruption thing, and this varies a lot. These are very different between levels and how they go. But again, a really interesting little break from things, you know? But I think this does a great job at making this genre a little bit more inviting to people like myself. People who are definitely good at video games and who have played... I mean, platformers are one of my favorite genres. I've played a lot of them over the years. But I just don't have the... And to be honest with you, the reason I can't do games like Super Meat Boy, it's mostly on me. I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the patience to, you know, I play so many different games that I don't have the patience to put in the time and effort to do something repeatedly to get good at it. And that's the way the game is designed, and I absolutely respect it for that. And I respect the hell out of people who are really good at that. I don't think they're bad, I just am not that good at them. This one I really like because it's challenging. I've had a number of levels that I've had to spend an obscene amount of time on. There we go. So I got her. So this is telling me the world's clear now. And he came and got her again. Aw. Poor Zero. So, but that's the thing. I have found this one a little bit more inviting to me. And I quite enjoy that. Like, honestly, I've been doing... I've had to put some real time into practicing some of these levels, but I've also done well enough that it's kept me going forward. I've never felt I hit the wall like I did with stuff like Super Meat Boy, and I want to play this to the end. I'm going to actually aim to finish this. It might take me a while, especially the later levels, but I'm going to aim to try. You know, one of the things that's been on my list for a long time, too, is I really wanted to play Celeste, and Celeste is another really hard precision platformer. But I wanted to play Celeste in particular because of its story and its characters, which I've heard are really, really make putting up with the trials worthwhile, if you will. And I do intend to hit that one up as well. But like I said, Super Meat Boy is something that I respect from a distance, but is really not for me. This one is something I could see myself playing. And to be honest with you, it's really hard, I think, to strike a balance between having that hardcore appeal for people who really want to dig into your, who really want the meat and potatoes hardcore type of experience, and also making your game accessible to new people. And based on what I've seen of some of the videos on Steam about the later levels in this, you're definitely gonna have that appeal if you're a hardcore player. And that's a very fine line to tread, because you don't want to make it too hard, but you don't want to make it too easy. And I think Silkworm has absolutely nailed it. This is a game done pretty much entirely by one person with the exception of the music, and I think it's exceptionally well done. I've had a lot of fun with this. Like, the reason I requested a press code for this is because I saw it pitched as it's a platformer mixed with a shmup, and I'm like, well, those are two of my favorite genres, so I got to see what this is about. I honestly didn't know it was a precision, like one of these more hardcore precision platformers. And I'm glad for that, because if I saw that, I probably would have been like, I don't think I'm going to bother with this, because that's a genre that I can't play well, and that I, by extension, wouldn't be able to showcase well. And I'm really glad that I took a chance on this, because it's been a real pleasant surprise, and really, I've been really enjoying it. So I'm hoping to put some more time into this. Without a doubt, it's going to take me a while to finish it. But I think I'm gonna make a real go of this one. And it's obviously, as you can tell by looking at it, this is something that could run on a potato. So you could put this on a very low-end computer or laptop or something like that and just chip away at it if you wanted. You obviously don't need a gaming rig like mine to be able to do this, which I think is great. Oh, God. And zap! There we go. And yeah, I just think it's a really great package. I really love the look of it. I love the sort of you're gonna have to be an old school PC player to understand this, but this has almost a CGA style color palette. It's more advanced than that, but it has the very sort of turquoise, sort of purple pinkish type of aesthetic to it that was very conducive of those old school PC platforms as well. There's more to it than that, but I really do like the look of it. I think it's striking. I like what they do with the backgrounds. I think it adds character without being overly busy and distracting, which is obviously a big problem in games like this. You don't want to get too distracted. And I think the music is absolutely great. I actually hope this soundtrack is out there somewhere. This would be great background music while I'm working. Really good, high energy and sort of fun sounding without, again, being overly in your face and aggressive to the point where it would be distracting for you as a player. Yeah, I really can't say enough good things about this. I think they absolutely nailed the sweet spot for making a game in this genre to appeal to a wider group, and I hope it does well, because it has been a lot of fun. So yeah, that is Super Mega Zero. I actually don't know what platforms it's on beyond PC. If it isn't, I hope it comes to other places. If not, but you'll see in the title there where it's available. And yeah, this has just been a really nice, pleasant surprise. Great job, Silkworm. I think you got something pretty special here, and it's something that I'm going to put the time in to finish, and that's something I really can't say about precision platformers for me. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. If you like what you saw here, please do all the normal YouTube things. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. Is this something you want to pick up? Are you someone who's not really into this genre normally, who can see the appeal in this? Do you want to pick it up? What other precision platformers? Are there other precision platformers you know of that you think are accessible like this one is, while also having hardcore appeal? I'm sure there are others out there that I haven't heard of. I'd just love to know what those are. So, and as always, you can follow me over at twitch.tv/pxabstraction for multiple variety streams a week. I cover indie and retro titles there, including a lot of titles that you won't see here on YouTube. I have a fantastic little community over there, and I'd love to see you be a part of it. Thank you very much, everybody, and I'll see you on the next Indie Ramble. You folks have yourselves a good one. Take her easy.